The flight attendant's voice crackled over the PA system at gate 47. Ladies and gentlemen, we apologize for the continued delay. Due to severe weather conditions, all departures from London Heathrow are grounded until further notice. We estimate at least a 3-hour delay. We appreciate your patience. 300 passengers groaned, slumped in their seats, checked their watches, started arguing with gate agents who had no control over the weather. The usual airport misery of being trapped with nowhere to go and nothing to do except wait and be angry about waiting. In the corner of the gate area, 4 men sat quietly, exhausted, coming off a week of non-stop promotional appearances, ready to go home, ready to sleep, but stuck like everyone else. Then one of them said something that would turn this miserable delay into the most joyful 3 hours 300 strangers would ever experience together. Well, we've got guitars, might as well make the best of it. This was October 12th, 1966, London Heathrow Airport, gate 47, and the Beatles were about to throw an impromptu concert that nobody would ever forget. October 12th, 1966, London Heathrow Airport, 4 p.m. The Beatles had been doing press all week, television, radio, interviews, photo shoots, the exhausting machinery of being the biggest band in the world. They were flying back to Liverpool, home, just a short flight, 45 minutes, easy. Except the weather had other plans. A massive storm system had rolled over London. Rain, wind, fog so thick you couldn't see 50 feet. All flights grounded, everything delayed. The airport was packed with stranded travelers, frustrated, angry, stuck. The Beatles sat at gate 47 with everyone else, John, Paul, George, Ringo, trying to be inconspicuous. Baseball caps, sunglasses, normal clothes, just 4 guys trying to blend in. It wasn't working. People kept staring, whispering. Is that them? Are those the Beatles? Their assistant Mal Evans had their guitars. They'd been at a radio session earlier, acoustic guitars in cases, just sitting there, waiting like everyone else. The gate area was miserable. Parents with crying children, business travelers pacing and checking watches, elderly couples looking exhausted, everyone in various states of frustration. That special kind of angry that comes from having no control and nowhere to direct your anger. A small boy, maybe 6 years old, was having a meltdown, screaming. His mother looked like she was about to cry herself. Please, Tommy, please just sit down. We'll get on the plane soon. I don't want to wait. I hate waiting. This is stupid. The mother was at her breaking point. You could see it. That moment when you're doing your best, but your best isn't enough, and you're failing in public, and everyone's watching and judging. John watched this, felt it. He'd been that exhausted parent, that person at the end of their rope with a screaming child and no good options. He stood up, walked over to Mal. Give me my guitar. Mal looked confused. Here? Now? Yeah, here, now. These people are miserable. We're all miserable. We've got guitars, let's do something about it. Paul caught on immediately, smiled. You want to play? Here? In the airport? Why not? We're stuck anyway. Might as well make it less miserable. George shrugged. I'm in. Ringo grinned. Let's do it. Mal handed out the guitars. 3 acoustics. John took his. Paul took his. George took his. Ringo didn't need anything. He could keep rhythm on his thighs, on a chair, on whatever. They positioned themselves in the center of the gate area, just sat down on the floor, cross-legged, like kids at a campfire. 4 Beatles on an airport floor with guitars. John started tuning. The small boy who'd been crying stopped mid-scream, watched. Mommy, why are those men sitting on the floor with guitars? I don't know, honey, I don't. She looked closer, really looked, her eyes went wide. Oh my God. Other people were noticing, turning, staring, nudging each other. Are they? Oh my God, it's the Beatles. John finished tuning, looked at Paul. What should we play? Something everyone knows, something easy. Yesterday? Paul smiled. Perfect. Paul started playing the opening chords, that iconic acoustic intro, instantly recognizable. The gate area went silent. Every conversation stopped. Every movement ceased. 300 people frozen, staring at four men sitting on the floor playing Yesterday. Paul sang, not the polished studio version, raw, acoustic, intimate, the way it was meant to be played, just a man and a guitar and a song about loss and memory and time. Yesterday, all my troubles seemed so far away. Now it looks as though they're here to stay. Oh, I believe in yesterday. The little boy who'd been screaming sat down, quiet, mesmerized. His mother had tears streaming down her face, not sadness tears, overwhelmed tears, gratitude tears. My son is watching the Beatles play Yesterday, 10 feet away tears. They finished Yesterday. 300 people applauded. Not screaming, not hysteria, respectful, grateful, appreciative. George leaned in. What next? Let It Be, John suggested. They played Let It Be. Then Here Comes the Sun. Then Hey Jude. Song after song. Everyone knew every word, started singing along on the choruses. 300 strangers united by music. By the Beatles sitting on an airport floor, making the best of a bad situation. A businessman in a suit who'd been furiously typing on his laptop closed it, sat down on the floor, sang along to All You Need Is Love. His tie was crooked, his professional facade completely gone. Just a man singing with strangers. An elderly woman in a wheelchair rolled closer. She was maybe 70. Elegant, proper, probably had never sat on a floor in her life. But she was singing, knew every word, tears running down her face. This is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. The gate agent stopped working, came around the counter, sat down. One of them, a young woman named Claire, had her phone out filming, not for social media, just to remember, to prove this had really happened. Airport security showed up, 2 officers, probably to shut it down. Tell the Beatles they couldn't just play concerts in airports. But when they saw what was happening, saw 300 people sitting peacefully singing together, they just stood there, smiled, kept people from blocking the walkway, became unofficial security for an unofficial concert. An hour passed. The Beatles kept playing, not their hits, deep cuts, album tracks, songs people loved but never heard live. In My Life, Blackbird, While My Guitar Gently Weeps. George sang that one, his voice cracking with emotion, everyone swaying, lighters raised, except they weren't at a concert venue. They were at Gate 47, waiting for a flight, living through something impossible. The little boy who'd been screaming was sitting in his mother's lap, peaceful, smiling, singing along to Yellow Submarine, making up words he didn't know. His mother held him and cried and sang, and felt like maybe being a parent wasn't impossible after all. Maybe there were still moments of magic. Maybe everything would be okay. 2 hours in, a pilot came over, in full uniform, captain's stripes. Professional? Serious. Excuse me, I hate to interrupt, but I'm supposed to be flying to Edinburgh in 20 minutes, except I can't leave. Because if I leave, I'll miss this, and I'll regret that for the rest of my life. So I'm staying, and my co-pilot is staying, and we're probably going to get fired. But it's worth it. John laughed. You're not going to get fired. Tell your boss the Beatles made you late. Will you sign something saying that? Absolutely. The pilot sat down, cross-legged, still in uniform, singing Let It Be with 300 strangers and 4 Beatles. The weather hadn't cleared. The flight was still delayed, but nobody cared anymore. Nobody was checking their watches. Nobody was arguing with gate agents. They were just there, present, together, living in a moment they'd tell their grandchildren about. 3 hours in, an announcement. Ladies and gentlemen, the weather has cleared. We'll begin boarding shortly. Thank you for your patience. Nobody moved. Nobody wanted it to end. John looked around at 300 faces, young, old, rich, poor, different countries, different languages, all united, all here, all human. We should probably let you all get on your flights, John said. No, someone shouted, laughter, agreement. Keep playing. We could, but then you'd miss your flights, and that seems like poor planning. More laughter. But before we go, one more song, the most important one, the one that sums up everything. They played All You Need Is Love. 300 people sang, loud, joyful, meaning every word, because for the last 3 hours, they'd lived it. Strangers loving strangers, the Beatles loving everyone, everyone loving the moment. Love made tangible through music and shared misery transformed into shared joy. When they finished, the applause was thunderous. Standing ovation in an airport, at a gate. For 4 men who decided that being stuck was an opportunity, not a problem. The Beatles stood up, stretched, packed their guitars, started to leave. But people came up to them, one by one, not asking for autographs, not asking for pictures, just saying thank you. The mother with the little boy. You saved me tonight. I was at my breaking point, and you gave me this gift, gave him this memory. Thank you. The businessman. I forgot why I love music, forgot why anything matters except work. You reminded me. Thank you. The elderly woman. I've lived 74 years. This is in my top 5 moments. Thank you. The pilot. I'm writing this in my logbook. Delayed by Beatles concert at gate 47. Nobody will believe me, but I'll know. Thank you. Person after person, thanking them, sharing what it meant, how it changed 3 hours of frustration into 3 hours of joy. John had tears in his eyes. Paul was openly crying. George kept hugging people. Ringo kept saying, no, thank you. Thank you for being here, for singing, for being part of this. They finally made it to their gate. Different flight, different departure. As they boarded, they could hear it. Gate 47. 300 people still singing, all you need is love. Still together, still living in the moment. The flight attendant on their plane was confused. What's happening over there? Love, Paul said simply. That's what's happening. The story spread fast. By the next morning, it was in newspapers. Beatles throw impromptu concert at Heathrow. Everyone who'd been there was interviewed, telling the story, sharing what it meant. The BBC tried to get footage, but Claire, the gate agent, had the only video. She refused to sell it. This wasn't for everyone. This was for us, the 300 people who were there. If I sell it, it becomes a commodity. It stops being ours, and I won't do that. She kept the video private, only shared it with the people who'd been there, a private Facebook group. Gate 47 family, 300 members, they stayed in touch, met up every October 12th, anniversary parties, sharing memories, keeping the moment alive. The little boy who'd been screaming, Tommy, grew up, became a musician, started a foundation. Music in airports, free concerts for stranded travelers, musicians volunteering to play in gates, in terminals, anywhere people were stuck and frustrated, turning misery into joy, just like the Beatles had done for him. In 2016, 50 years later, Tommy organized a reunion at Heathrow, Gate 47, as many of the original 300 as he could find. 100 people showed up, older, grayer, but still remembering, still feeling it. They sat on the floor, just like the Beatles had, brought guitars, played the same songs. Yesterday, Let It Be, All You Need Is Love. Airport security came over, not to shut it down, to join in. Because by then, Gate 47 was legendary. Airport staff knew the story. We're proud it had happened there. At the end of the reunion, Tommy stood up, now 56, father of 3, musician, foundation director, living a life changed by one 3-hour delay. The Beatles taught us that day that life isn't about waiting for the good moments. It's about creating them. We were stuck. We were miserable. We had every right to be angry, but they refused. They decided to be joyful instead, to create joy for everyone around them. That's their legacy, not the hit songs or the fame, the choice to be generous with their gifts, to share joy whenever possible, especially when it's least expected. He pulled out his phone, played Claire's original video, the one she'd kept private for 50 years. 300 people crying, laughing, singing, 4 Beatles on a floor, magic in an airport, love in a delay. This is what it means to be human, Tommy said. Not the waiting, the singing, not the frustration, the joy, not the problem, the solution. Thank you, John, Paul, George, and Ringo, for teaching us, for showing us, For 3 hours at Gate 47 that became a lifetime of choosing joy. October 12, 1966. 300 people got stuck at an airport in a storm, and instead of being miserable, they experienced something most people never get. 3 hours with the Beatles, not in a stadium, not on television, but sitting on a floor, playing guitars, making the best of a bad situation, choosing joy over anger, connection over isolation, love over everything. That's the choice. That's always the choice. And the Beatles chose love every single time.